I thought I was done taking free knives for review, but recently two reputable companies reached out to me and they wanted specifically to review knives on my channel. Sometimes those things don't go as expected. Let's take a look at this knife. By now, this logo should be familiar to anyone. It's Oknife, an offshoot of OLight Company, and they make great flashlights. On the other hand, what they are really bad at is making packaging for their products. It's not the first time I have to use a knife to open one of their boxes. And it's truly annoying because at the prices that they're selling, those are going to be most likely gift items purchased by people who are not knife enthusiasts or flashlight enthusiasts for the people who are. Anyway, you see the struggle I have to go, and I can't help it. OLight or Oknife, if you are watching, this is what you need to do. It's simple. It doesn't require an engineering prowess. When you order the box from whichever mass production company makes them, please tell them to make these little cuts so a person who is opening the box has a way to grip the bottom portion in order to separate it from the top portion, like this. See how easy that is? What greets you inside the box is this piece of paper. I guess it has a meaning because it tells you that the designer is Ostap Hel. He's from Poland. Anyway, but there's a picture of the knife that you're about to see anyway, or marketing stuff. I think they were trying to match the color of this piece of paper to the color of their recent products made out of OAL, which means just OLight aluminum. Here's the knife, and it's packaged in this beautiful, sexy, semi-opaque plastic. Yeah. Once we pull the knife out of the plastic sheath, we can clearly see that it's designed to match stylistically the Arkfeld Pro, and it's quite different from the Oknife Duron, other than the color. The logo on the Duron's clip is a little bit more fun than just Oknife on this here AION. AION. I don't know what they meant by this name. AI is on. Or is it AION? Anyway, the knife compares very closely to the Duron, except for the blade and handle widths. Obviously, the lengths are nearly the same. And because they employed the slicier grind on the blade, even though it's narrower, it will slice really well, just as well as the Duron. And I actually like the Duron. I carried it quite a bit. Here it is next to the Arkfeld Ultra, and what surprised me is the fact that Ostap did not include the motif from that rotary switch into the knife's design. What he did not forget to include is the ability to front flip the knife. This is Ostap's signature method of opening, in addition to whatever else, in this case a flipper. And I actually suspected that he participated in the Duron's design because that one front flips rather easily. Before we go any farther, I'd like to know which one of these two knives you like better. One interesting ergonomic feature Ostap included in the design is this double beveled handle spines. I think the implication here is if you're working this knife hard, carving wood, applying a lot of pressure, these bevels will sort of alleviate the hot spots in the palm of your hand. And also it has like a swell here toward the front of the handle, and it's similar to what you see on the Arkfeld. Oh, speaking of Arkfeld, see this checkering here, milled pattern? I really like it, and I wish they introduced some of it somewhere on the knife. And it would totally go with the theme of the pairing up the two EDC items. I am not a knife designer, but if I was working on the paired themed EDC couple here, I would definitely introduce a feature resembling the OLight's world-famous rotary switch, which was a very innovative feature when it first showed up on the OLights, and it set them apart from everyone else. I really liked the Duron. I carried it quite a bit. It's probably my number 3 or 4 most carried knife for the last couple of months. So the AION has big shoes to fill. And I wish they had a good finger choil here in front of the flipper tab, because the knife feels a little less substantial in the hand than the Duron, and it's kind of begging for some more gription in that area if you're really trying to carve something. The front flipping takes a little bit of a getting used to, again, because the handle feels so slim. It's a lot easier to get that torque onto the Duron. The blade is rock solid. There's no play in any direction. There is no lock stick. The detent feels really nice. And it runs on the ceramic ball bearings, which causes it to have a pretty decent drop shot action. Which one would I pick? Let the hardness test decide. But first, a couple of thoughts. Recently, a lot of companies that are not known for specifically making knives joined that market. For example, Leatherman, with its now flopped debut of the Blazer, which has as many issues as Chevy Blazer had when it first came out. Another company that is known for making sharpeners, called Worksharp, brought this knife to the market. It's RMX, and this one keeps selling out, so it's financially a success. But because they are in a rush to fill the orders, the quality dropped. Blades come dull, off-center, etc. Well, that's kind of ironic that the company that is least involved with knives, like OLight, is making a better EDC knife. Here's a very successful knife from Benchmade. It's called Tagged Out. It's a sort of scion of the Bug Out. And speaking of the Bug Out, where's mine? Here it is. So Bug Out is a little smaller, and the Tagged Out is spot on the same size. And based on projected MSRP that Oknife provided to me, it will be $50 to $60 below the Bug Out and the Tagged Out. While I'm pulling out Spyderco comparisons, I have to mention that the AION will be available through Kickstarter on August 19th, 2025, and the Kickstarter will close in only 3 days. So if you're watching it after the 22nd of August, you missed out, and then the price goes up. So the Kickstarter price of this knife will be $77 or $78, and then it will go up to $120 MSRP, so it'll probably sell for $89, $95. Oh, and they're also kickstarting 2 more premium versions of this knife, and the titanium handled one with M390 steel will be in the mid 100s. MSRP will be $250, and the Zircotai handled one will be starting at $450, MSRP $499. Yes, you heard it right, $450 to $500. To test the hardness of the blade, I had to take the knife apart. It's 4 screws on each side, and you have to take both scales off. They're contoured to fit or sink in the frame elements here, those 2 plates. The plates are air-gapped for weight, and the assembly was pretty straightforward. What I don't like about it is that the pivot screw is hidden, because sooner or later any blade comes a little loose due to wear and tear, and sooner or later you will have to adjust the pivot, and for that you need to remove the front scale. It's under the front scale, not under the clip side. They advertise the blade at 59 to 61 HRC hardness, and it's DLC coated, and it also looks to me that the frame or liners are also DLC coated, which is kind of cool. DLC coating is extremely hard. It's diamond-like coating, and that coating is as hard at the surface as the diamond. It is not a very thick coating, approximately half to 1.5 microns. But it does affect the hardness test and not in a way that some of the reviewers think it does. I think when the penetrator sinks into that surface, something happens right at the surface, and the reading of the hardness can be a little skewed. Now, I have no scientific way to prove it. Some people speculate that it's due to thermal cycle when coating the knife, but DLC coating does not involve as high temperature as PVD, so I don't know. I'm going to start testing it coated and then remove the coating and see what happens. But before I do all this, I verify calibration of my Rockwell hardness tester. This is a serialized, independently certified calibration block. Here's the certificate that came from the NIST certification company, and it's independent from the vendor of the hardness block. I place it on the anvil rises to the penetrator. The small hand in the middle of the dial has to be set on the red dot, and then the large handle is centered on letter C. The inner numbers, some people ask me what are the red numbers. They are for HRB scale. We're measuring an HRC scale, and we're getting a little bit high reading. That's supposed to be 62. We got 62.5, so I'm going to poke it again, see what happens now. And again, setting the 0, releasing the major load here, and it's 150 kilos of load, and then release the lever, and my reading now is 62.3-ish. So we're reading a little high. Feel free to subtract 0.2, 0.3 HRC from the result. Well, I'm eager to see. The Duron had a pretty decent heat treat. It was right around 59.5, 60 HRC, which is good for Nitro V, which I believe was derived from AEBL with a very similar wear resistance and a little bit higher toughness. So let's see how it measures with the coating on. What? 56 HRC. That's very, very low. All right, let's not get stressed. We got to test it again, but let me tell you, I really expected, and I was actually hoping to see 59.5 to 60.5. 56, of course, it's a quality butter knife hardness. Second shot is also 56.1. Who cares about 0.1 at this point? So, unfortunately, slightly off camera, I am removing the coating using a diamond sharpening plate from Zarilk, my favorite fixed angle sharpener. Totally plugging it in. The link will be in the description if you want a quality, inexpensive sharpener. I totally promote it. Okay, so here's the shined up blade without the coating in the area where I'm testing. What do you guys think? If you got this far into the video, you should probably consider gently tapping the like button. Don't hit it hard, just gently. We wouldn't want to mess up the test. 67.5, another disappointing result, although it did jump by 1.5. HRC, my light is going out. I didn't recharge my little diffusion light. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm in a bad mood now because of the blade hardness, or lack thereof. Sorry about the shakes, turning the light on. The result is the same, 67.3. Here are the 4 spots where I tested so that you know I'm for real. Next, out of abundance of caution and to avoid throwing Oknife under the bus, I am going to recalibrate or recheck my calibration here. Reminder, this is a pre-production knife, so the production knives could be different. And it's a single unit test. This is probably the most unexpected test result in a while. But this time I'm getting 62 spot on, and I'm going to do it again. Please know that testing a single unit out of a batch is not ever an industry standard test. Even though I'm using an industry standard tester. I got 62 spot on again, so I am well within the calibration. So the hardness of this specific blade is between 56.5 and 57.5 HRC. All right, this is a tough situation for Oknife. I'm filming this segment on August 12th, 2025. The Kickstarter starts on the 19th, so potentially they then have a few weeks to make it right. So if I were them, I would contact the blade manufacturer, blade supplier, and require that they heat treat the blades before coating. They heat treat them to 61. And that would give them hope to get it somewhere between 59.5 and 60.5, which is decent heat treat for Nitro V. Can they do it? Do they have time? Time will show.
I will be happy to retest if they send me the actual production sample. Mine is a small channel. Half of you that watch my videos don't even subscribe. And because of that, people that are unscrupulous just review knives for the sake of getting free knives. They will not tell you what you found here today. It's very important to me that you subscribe and you actually repost my videos on social networks. That will help not only us as a knife enthusiasts to get better quality products, but it will also give the companies, serious companies like Oknife is, a good feedback to improve. Because they definitely deserve a niche in this market. The product is called. Let me show you something maybe to offset the balance. So these are DLC coated blades. So I'm going to take this blade and I'm going to try to scratch this blade. And I'm doing it in earnest, right? So as you can see, there's these white marks from where I was scratching, and I'm going to just rub it off with my finger. Same goes for the actual handle material. Here's a good spot. They anodize aluminum really well. So potentially it's a high-end, high-quality product. But